All right, so the way this game works is Brittany and Bianca both have a list of Christian pickup lines, and what they're gonna do is try and get the other person's teammate to laugh, so Sydney or Courtney. But they're gonna have their mouths full of water, so go ahead and take a sip. So the team that gets the other team to laugh the most wins at the end of when we run out of pickup lines. So whoever has the most spit takes loses.
Okay.
Spit right now, it counts.
Who's going first?
You can go.
Okay, ready? I like my women like I like my Microsoft Word document saved.
Why am I laughing?
It's your turn, go ahead. You're already laughing, like, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Will. God.
Okay, ready? Okay, is it my turn? Or the good laugh?
Go.
You really are a fisher of men, and baby, you just reeled me in.
Sydney is like
It's a rock.
a rock. Stone face.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is your name Grace? Because you're a main name.
Amazing Grace.
Hey, I heard Jesus called you. Mind if I do the same?
Sorry.
Bianca, you gotta like compose yourself and do
I feel like
these.
Bianca should be on the chair.
Yeah, I
Yes.
Is this pew fake?
What? Start over.
You kind of lost that one through. Is this pew taken? Does anyone get it?
That's the whole thing?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
It's just, is this beauty? That's the whole joke. The whole Christmas line.
You can call me Pharaoh because I will never let you go.
Courtney can't even. You're gonna make your own teammates spit all over this.
I told you first I showed you better. Oh, this one. You must be an Egyptian. You must be an Egyptian because I'm a slave for you.
She just poured it all over her lap. She's like,
Oh my god. Come on.
Cindy almost laughed at Courtney laughed. Just dribbled on your lap.
What's one quality every winning team demonstrates? Is it being there for each other? Working well together? Maybe it's encouraging and being accountable. I think all of those things are right, but I think what they all have in common is communication. See, me and my friends were sitting around one day and we were thinking, we want to make something. Like as a group, we want to make something that's ours, something that lasts. You know, we'd always been gamers and we were like, hey, we've always talked about making a YouTube channel. Those were blowing up at the time. And we were like, let's do that. We're like, well, that's a lot of work. You got to make the videos and edit them. And editing videos is crazy and it's a big mess. And we said, maybe we're not ready for that. But we had a friend that's a musician. And he said, well, you know, I record music and I have all of the software we need to make a podcast. And we're like, a podcast? That's so much easier. You don't got to care about what you look like, or you don't got to make content people can see. It's just what they can hear. All that is talking. That's what I'm doing right now. Well, we decided to do that, and we had a whole bunch of fun with it. We made our first episode, and we sat down for like an hour before it. We came up with what our intro was going to be. We made the name. We decided who's going to say what. We did different segments like it was a news show. Like, we just had so much fun with it. And it was one of the best memories I have of hanging out with our group, was just doing that podcast. That first episode was just so much excitement and so much energy that we had for it. And then we kept going. We were trying to decide, do we do monthly? Do we do every week? Maybe every other week? We weren't sure. So we just kept making them. And whenever we were done, we would put them out. And there wasn't a really set schedule to it, but we wanted there to be, and we were working towards it. We eventually bought these, mics off of Amazon to help the sound quality. We found somebody's house that works where there wasn't a whole bunch of background noise and stuff to disturb us, or stuff that our musician friend would have to cut out when he was doing the editing. Well, speaking of that same musician friend that was the one that offered the idea for the podcast in the first place, he was the one that after we would record a 30, 45 minute, hour-long episode, he was the one that was going back and chopping it down and editing it and putting the intro music that we decided on, that we actually had Eli make for us in the office one day. He was the one that had to go do all that on top of his job, on top of his life, on top of everything else. He was adding that extra time into making it a good, finished, clean product that we could go and, put out and give to people. I mean, yeah, we all had our jobs. We helped make the social media pages and we would publish them and share it and put it out there and our different things with little things like that. But the main job was him. He was editing and doing all of that. And we didn't always tell him that we appreciated him. I mean, we were 4 guys. We grew up around the mindset that, we never missed a beat if somebody did something funny or embarrassing, to just absolutely roast each other. And it was never to hurt each other's feelings. I mean, some of our greatest memories are sitting around a table, unable to breathe, falling out of our chairs because we're laughing so hard at something. Even the person that made the mistake or did the thing is laughing just as hard as everyone else. It wasn't to be mean to one another. It was just to be funny. And that's kind of our mindset for our entire friendship, and it kind of still is. It's just how we've always been. But communication is super important. And remember how I said that earlier? Now I get to tell you what happens when you don't use it well. See, that friend kept editing videos. We made probably 4, 5, 6 episodes over the course of 2 or 3 months. Like, we were starting to talk to people. We were going to have special guests. We had to find extra microphones and all this other stuff that he did a lot of the work for. Like, we were helping, but I mean, it was his stuff. So he was the one really looking through and finding it all out. And he did all this recording and editing. And eventually it just started to get really stressful and be a strain on his life, on his work, and everything else he was trying to do. You know, he had a relationship and he wanted to hang out with us because we were his friends since he was little. And, you know, he also was being part of making music here at church and all these other things that it was just beginning to be a lot. We never really voiced that we were appreciative of him being able to do all that. I mean, he was the only one that was able to and capable of doing that editing and all that extra work. I mean, none of us could have done it. So it just wouldn't have happened without him. So, I mean, he was a huge part, more than any of us, of that podcast ever even existing. Well, it eventually got to the point where it was so much and arguments happened and fights that he took a break, not from the podcast, not just from the podcast, but from our whole group for almost about a month. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants one of their friends to walk away, especially when you feel responsible for why they left. Especially not when you've been friends for so long and it's a part of your weekly routine is to hang out multiple days a week as your group. Not having them is like a part of you is missing. That's terrible. Now, eventually things changed and we worked it out and we put the podcast to rest for a while and we just stayed friends and we had fun. I mean, a year went by, we picked it back up, we made 1 or 2 episodes, tried to bring it back, but life was even more crazy. We had all moved out of our parents' house. Our musician friend was down out of town. He didn't even live here anymore. So he was commuting, we were commuting, and it was just a lot of work. So we were like, we're going to put it to rest for good. See, it's just crazy how complicated and difficult things can be when you just don't communicate and you don't tell people how much you care about them. See, the Bible has answers to all of these problems that we have in our life. Answers I wish I knew about. For example, Paul wrote a letter to the Ephesians and told them that it's so important to live in a community and explain to them what it's like to live as Christians. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 15 through 16 say, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is, Christ. From him, the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love, and each part does its work. What we learned from Paul, that I wish I knew then, was that we can grow together. See, God made us to live in community. He didn't make us to live alone or to be by ourselves, whether that's because something we think or because of something other people think. It doesn't matter. He didn't make us to live alone. He wants us to be together, whether that's your family, your friend group like it is for me, the church community that you're around, whatever the case is, we're supposed to live in community around people that care about us, no matter what. Here are some ways that we can do that. You have to be real with your squad. You got to be honest with them. You can't put up a different person when you're around them because you want to be cool or because you want to fit in better. You got to be real with your squad because that's how you create those relationships that allow you to grow together. You can learn with your squad. You guys can make memories and experience things together and share the knowledge that each of you guys have. Like with us, for example, we all have different things that we specialize in. Like one of us is really good with history or geography, and like that's one way that we learn from each other. But it's not just that, it's life. You can learn different life skills. You can experience life in different ways, see it in a different perspective, and get a different light on just the way the world is. But just be open to that. And to be open with that, like I said, you have to be real with everyone, yourself and them. And then you can start to learn and experience life and everything God has for us. The third way is to add to your squad. I know this is hard, and coming from someone that's been in a tight-knit group for multiple years, it's hard to add someone into a group that you've created so tightly. But that's what God wants us to do. I mean, there's people in the room sometimes that just need someone to reach out to them. They could be the greatest fit for your group. They could fit in just fine. They could laugh and make all the same jokes, and they could be right there with you guys. But you got to be open to reaching out and allowing them to come in. Because if you don't, chances are everybody's thinking the same thing. And it's up to you to really go out and find those people, be open to them, and grow your squad. And the last thing is to stick with your squad. Listen, growing together and experiencing life isn't something you just do on the fly. It's a commitment. When you make these groups and you make these friends, it's not something that you're like, today I guess I feel it, and tomorrow I don't really know them. And no, it's something that you commit to, you invest in it, you stick with them, and you create those friendships that run deep and run strong. And that's how you learn together and you grow your group and you guys grow together. Hey guys, that's all we have for you this week. It was super awesome getting this opportunity to come up here and talk to you guys. I've been super nervous the whole time. I don't know if you could notice. You probably did. But I'm so glad I did this experience. Listen, we're praying for you guys. We miss you. We can't wait to get back to Wednesday so that we can all come and hang out. We're going to be safe with it, but man, we miss you guys so much, and we can't wait to see you guys next week.